Welcome to Alliant Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis, and then we will go over what to be watching into tomorrow. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members today was to be watching for the blue and yellow controlled selling algorithms and the purple buying continuation if we were going to continue higher. So you can see here in the morning with this blue and yellow controlled selling algorithm, we never formed this breakout right here. And I explained you also had to be paying attention to the white and green algorithms up here and this head and shoulder that was starting to form. And you can see how this starts to form right here, as well as this inverse cup that starts to close right here before we start breaking down and eventually closing this inverse cup here back at the 5-day moving average. So now here on the 1 minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms, you can see here in the morning that if you are looking for this trade to the upside, you have to be seeing us break out of this blue algorithm right here. We closed this cup in the morning, but when it's time to form that handle with that blue and yellow, you can see that we cannot form that inverse head and shoulder. Now it takes some time for this to head down, but you can see we are forming these head and shoulders right here. Same thing, right, with that green algorithm. You can see how this is trying to form right here, and we get this double top. Now from here, you see once again, right, the head and shoulder within this green algorithm as we continue down. Now we start breaking out of this blue right here. You can see we reject this with this beautiful head and shoulder, and then you see this huge volume increase, and we start seeing this sell-off right here. Very, very nice move to the downside. So at this point right here, with this inverse cup closing to the downside at this level right here, I explained we would need to see a handle to start breaking out of this green algorithm right here, similar to before how we formed this head and shoulder and start seeing that breakdown. Same thing, you see how we start to form that. Takes some time, but eventually with that green algorithm, we start to see this breakdown once again. So with that handle that I'm talking about on the 30-minute chart, you can see how we're forming it on the 1 minute. Now, like I explained right here, if we start to form that, pay attention. We cannot form that inverse cup quite yet to head down. It takes a bit more time. You can see with the tapering within this white algorithm right here. And we have that green as we start to form this head and shoulder as well as that inverse cup back to this level. Now, as I was also explaining to the upside, ideally I would have wanted to see us back above this, grabbing this liquidity right here. In that case, see something like this, sure, why not take it to the upside? But unless we saw that, there was no reason to be going long, especially right here I explained with this inverse cup and handle that we see within this blue and yellow algorithm. We need to see it close above this level right here, or like I explained, it is going to be topping, and still watch for this inverse cup. And you see how you could have taken those few entries on the way down for a nice scalp. Now with this here as well on the 30-minute chart, I was explaining that you have to be paying attention to this orange selling continuation right here. If we started to see us continuing, right, like we do, take some time. We have to form that head and shoulder within that green. But once again, you see that orange selling continuation on the way down. And I also explained that if we were going to head up, you would want to see this yellow right here forming, and you would want to see this inverse head and shoulder. But like I explained, you want to be seeing us grab this liquidity right here. Otherwise, not worth the long until then. Now at this point right here on the 1 minute chart, after we close this inverse cup, right, we need a handle, so we do not see a form one right here. This is if it was really aggressive. You can see we are also within this blue algorithm, which is very important, and you will see why. But same thing right here with this handle. Do not see a form here quite yet either, and you are looking for if we start to form this breakout of this blue algorithm right here with this tapering, which we cannot. We try closing this cup right here, but when it's time for this handle, you can see we are unable to form that, cannot break above that previous resistance, and then ultimately start grabbing that liquidity again that I explained if we wanted to form a cup back to the open. So same thing right here, I'm explaining the larger view. If there is a breakout, be paying attention for us to head back up and break out of this and then grab that liquidity. Otherwise, pay attention to this bear flag and this algorithm that you can see right here. And you see how we start to form this head and shoulder breaking out of this blue algorithm. It takes some time, but if you are scalping this right, you can see these head and shoulders as well as the inverse cup and handle on the microstructure. So plenty of trades down, right? That's another inverse cup. From there, you're looking for this handle. Again, another scalp you could have taken. Now, I'm about to explain something important right here. As we continue to head down, right, you see this head and shoulder forming. See that inverse cup and handle again with that green algorithm, and you get this move down. Now at this point right here, we once again start forming this head and shoulder. It takes some time, and we start chopping alongside this blue algorithm. Now you can see that we have been looking for the breakout of this blue algorithm, not only to the downside, but also to the upside, right? If you're looking for that breakout, you need to be seeing that, which we are unable to. So that being said, I was done with my last trade right here. I took it down and I saw us starting to form some support again along that blue algorithm right here and got out of my position. Now you can see that it took quite some time for this to form. It took almost 45 minutes within this right here. So if you got out of your runners, it is all good. It is all good because you were not waiting around to see if this was going to form. But if you were in your runners, right, you could have seen that we were not heading up, could have had your stop loss on, right, if you were in from up here. Now, like I was explaining here, right, the 5-day moving average was down here. So if we did break out of this blue, be paying attention for a move down to that. And you can see how that formed. We grab this liquidity right here with that gap that we were talking about as well on the way down, and we close that inverse cup at the 5-day moving average. Now after we reached the 5-day moving average, I explained if you were looking for one more trade, you could see this head and shoulder form off of it right here, and you see how we start to form that right here, this head and shoulder, for a nice move down to close once again an inverse cup. Now we're unable to form that handle for that resistance and see that continuation. Now going over what to be watching into tomorrow. So as we have this larger head and shoulder structure starting to form here, we need to be paying attention to this 5-day moving average. If we start to form a handle right here and head down, pay attention for that to become resistance and continue grabbing this liquidity right here and closing this inverse cup. And then from there, right, we can continue to watch for another handle, and maybe we start getting a move down to this 20-day moving average here later in the week. But this is important. Remember, if we do not lose this 5-day moving average right here, we can still be building liquidity for this move higher right here within the blue and yellow. Pay attention to that if that started to form, and we continue this uptrend right here, and it is just a pullback to this 5-day moving average. Now you can see right in the uptrend, we already reached this upper Bollinger, we were above it, so this pullback is warranted, and we can absolutely continue the uptrend if we hold the 5-day moving average. That is exactly what you want to see, right? So upper Bollinger right here, we get a move back down to the 5-day, and then we continue moving higher. So just pay attention to that. But we can also do what we did right here, upper Bollinger, move down to the 5-day moving average, and then from there start forming that head and shoulder, 5 crosses below this 20, and now you have a downtrend. But pay attention to that, you would have to see that starting to form if there is a larger head and shoulder right here. So just pay attention to this tomorrow. If we open lower with, say, a gap down, pay attention to something like that. We regain the 5-day moving average. Or if we start with a gap up, right, do not fall into the trap right here. and watch for that 5-day moving average to become resistance, and maybe you start to see a move down. That is all for the video, so thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.